delay scarcely. No more teasing.
Butterball Cenobite backstory explained. Hellraiser's silent nightmare. In the pantheon of horror icons spawned by Clive Barker's Hellraiser universe, few are as grotesquely memorable as Butterball. With his bloated, glistening flesh, stitched eyelids, and ever-present sunglasses, Butterball remains one of the most enigmatic members of the Cenobites. While characters like Pinhead or the Chatterer have captured the spotlight in sequels and spin-offs, Butterball stands quietly at the back, ominous, observant, and monstrous. But behind his silence lies a dark past and twisted transformation that deserves its own exploration. This is the backstory of Butterball Cenobite explained, the man he once was, how he became a Cenobite, and what makes him one of Hell's most disturbing creations. Origins in flesh. Who was Butterball before the Lament configuration? Before he was a Cenobite, Butterball was a man, though Clive Barker's original novella The Hellbound Heart and early films offer little about his mortal identity. It's through extended lore, comics, and Barker-approved backstories that glimpses into his life before damnation emerge. Butterball's real name has never been officially revealed, but some lore suggests he was a hedonist, an individual obsessed with excess, food, pleasure, and pain. Unlike other Cenobites who pursued the Lament configuration in search of forbidden experiences or enlightenment, Butterball sought the box as an avenue to indulge in gluttony and sadomasochism without end. His mortal existence was one of indulgence and consumption. Obese, addicted to food, and increasingly detached from reality, he was a man who wanted more from sensation. His obsession with pushing the limits of physical pleasure may have started with simple indulgences, but over time it evolved into something darker. Self-harm, ritualistic practices, and eventually, the pursuit of transcendence through pain. When he finally solved the Lament configuration, Butterball was taken by the Cenobites not as a victim, but as a willing participant, a man who believed he had found kindred spirits who understood his hunger. The transformation, becoming Butterball the Cenobite. Upon being taken to the Labyrinth, the realm of Leviathan, lord of the Cenobites, Butterball's body and soul were reshaped to match his twisted desires. His transformation was grotesque. The act of becoming a Cenobite is not merely physical mutilation, it is spiritual obliteration. Every sense is amplified and corrupted. The body is destroyed and rebuilt as a shrine to torment. For Butterball, the transformation honored his earthly obsessions. His once bloated frame was exaggerated into something almost inhuman. His flesh became greasy, his eyelids stitched shut as if to reject the visual world and embrace pure internal sensation. The sunglasses were not for vanity but a mockery, a relic of humanity he clung to, a touch of irony amidst his monstrous form. His role within the Cenobite hierarchy was that of the silent enforcer, a watcher, a sadist who preferred observation and slow, deliberate torment. Unlike Pinhead, who commands with authority, or Chatterer, who embodies frenzied violence, Butterball radiates menace through stillness. His silence speaks volumes, and his slow, deliberate movements suggest a confidence that comes from understanding suffering at its most primal level. Butterball did not need words. His presence was enough to instill dread, and when he acted, it was with precision and cruelty. Symbolism and design. The Cenobite of excess. Butterball's design is not just grotesque, it's symbolic. Each Cenobite reflects the sins or obsessions that led them to Leviathan's realm. Pinhead represents order through pain. Chatterer symbolizes the loss of speech and identity through suffering. Butterball is the embodiment of gluttony and carnal excess. His physical obesity is a literal manifestation of overindulgence. His stitched eyelids may signify willful blindness, ignoring the consequences of his cravings. The glasses, absurdly perched on a mutilated face, mock the vanity of appearance. Butterball's leathery attire, like all Cenobites, is a twisted inversion of BDSM garb, suggesting that the pursuit of pleasure has become indistinguishable from agony. Barker himself designed the Cenobites to challenge Western concepts of good and evil, beauty and horror. Butterball is a perverse priest of sensation, someone who found in hell not punishment but apotheosis. Butterball in the films. A silent menace. Butterball first appears in 1987's Hellraiser, portrayed by Simon Bamford. While he lacks lines, his performance is chilling. Butterball's every movement exudes weight, both literal and metaphorical. He is slow, methodical, and grotesquely serene amidst chaos. He is present during the iconic scenes where the Cenobites confront Frank Cotton and later Kirsty, acting as one of Pinhead's trusted lieutenants. Although he plays a smaller role compared to Pinhead, Butterball's presence in the original film was striking enough to leave a lasting impression. His physicality, makeup effects, and silence contrasted sharply with Pinhead's articulate menace. In Hellraiser 2, Butterball returns but meets his end during the climax when Leviathan's order collapses. He is briefly seen reverting to his human form, a frightened, overweight man in hospital garb, stripped of his Cenobite identity. It's a fleeting but powerful reminder that beneath every monster in hell, there once was a broken person. Expanded universe, comics and deeper lore. While the films provide limited development, the Hellraiser comics expand upon Butterball's backstory and personality. In several stories, Butterball is portrayed as a collector of souls, often playing with his victims the way a cat toys with prey. He delights in drawing out pain, savoring it. Some comic interpretations reveal he was once a priest or monk, twisted by a life of religious repression and eventual corruption. Other stories depict him as a once wealthy man obsessed with decadence, whose physical and moral decay led him to the lament configuration. These differing stories reflect the ambiguity that surrounds Butterball, a creature whose backstory shifts like a dream depending on the storyteller, but always centers around the theme of unquenchable hunger and the price of indulgence. Legacy, the horror of silence and stillness. Butterball may not speak, but his legacy in horror is profound. He is a monster that defies the loud, flashy tropes of many genre villains. Instead, he represents something slower, more insidious, the gradual descent into self-destruction, the quiet rot that comes from giving in to every desire. In a world of screams and chains, Butterball's silence is its own form of terror. He is not rage or chaos, he is inevitability. The stillness before the blade, the heavy breath before the scream. Even decades after his first appearance, Butterball remains a fan favorite among Hellraiser devotees. He is proof that horror doesn't need words, it only needs presence, weight, and the subtle implication that something worse is coming. Butterball may never lead the Cenobites or deliver monologues about suffering, but he doesn't need to. His body tells the story, his silence is his sermon, and in the twisted theology of Hellraiser, that makes him a prophet of pain in his own right.